Yo guys, what's going on? Alex Crumpton here, and in this video I'm going to show you exactly how I'm testing my winning products on Facebook ads for your dropshipping store. It's going to be a video series, so there's going to be 2 or 3 different parts to this video series showing you a direct implementation process that you can apply to your business on how to properly test Facebook ads in 2018 and coming into 2019. So if you're interested in that, then stay tuned, and also if you find any value in this video, then be sure to leave a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know exactly when the next video is coming out. Okay, then let's get straight into the content. Okay, so in this video we're going to go over part 1 of how to properly test Facebook ads for dropshipping. And now I've seen so many different ways, people saying one way, other people saying another way. I've tested out literally every single way, so I'm going to go over exactly what is working for me right now in this video series. So we've got quite a few slides to get through, going over kind of strategies and how to structure your campaigns and things like that, what your budget should be every week, expenses and things, what I optimize for, pros and cons and things like that, metrics that I look for. So stay tuned if you want to learn all this, if you're struggling to properly test on Facebook. And I'm also, at the end, I'm going to show you kind of how you can download all these slides completely for free, no email required or anything like that. So if you're interested in that, then stay tuned to the end and I'll show you how to do that. Okay, let's get into the video. Well then, so in dropshipping, I literally see a huge discrepancy between where people think they're going wrong to where people are actually going wrong. A lot of people, they put it down to things that aren't actually super important. So they'll say it's something like incorrect targeting. I can guarantee that targeting is super easy on Facebook. The whole goal of targeting is to just test multiple different interests, different audiences across a given niche. So 9 times out of 10 it isn't directly due to the targeting. Another reason that they'll say it's bad ad copy / creative, and don't get me wrong, this can be a big reason, but I see a lot of great ads, great ad copy, everything's done perfectly, but it fails and it's not, and the dropshipper will put it down to being these things, but it's not actually these. So another reason is that they'll say their store doesn't look good. This is probably one of the biggest reasons. I see so many people obsessing over silly little things like the colour of their add to cart button, or just something silly like that, or just obsessing over what trust badges to use. You just need to keep it real simple. Most consumers aren't going to come onto your store and just think oh my god, this doesn't look super professional, or I don't like the colour of their add cart button, therefore I'm not going to buy the product. 99 times out of 100 it's the product which will cause the purchase, not the store, or not the colours of the store, or the theme, or anything like that. So you really don't want to worry too much about this. And another reason is that a lot of people just say dropshipping is dead. They'll spend a couple of hundred on Facebook ads, they'll do it completely wrong, it won't work, and they'll say, oh, Facebook's a scam, or dropshipping is dead, it's too competitive, it's too saturated, blah 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 blah. People say that literally on a daily basis, and that's not the reason. I can 100% assure you that dropshipping is not dead. In fact, it's actually easier now than it used to be for me. That's due to obviously increased knowledge and actually understanding of how to do things properly. Well then, so where people are actually going wrong within their dropshipping business, and the main reason as to why they're not consistently finding winning products, and this is a reason that not many people talk about, is that they're aimlessly testing too many products. So they're literally just launching so many products per day, they're not fully validating the product pre-testing, and so they're just wasting so much money on testing. And I've even seen people who've tested over 100 products and haven't even found a profitable campaign that they can scale, and that's just absolutely crazy. And I can guarantee what the main reason is, that they're just testing randomly. There's no real structure or systems in place within their business to really find profitable products consistently. So going on from that, another reason is they're not testing enough ad sets per product. So what they're doing is probably running one interest per product and literally just launching it and hoping that particular segment of the niche is profitable and they can scale into that. And 9 times out of 10 it won't, because you need to test multiple different ad sets per product in order to penetrate the market for that product and find profitable campaigns that you can scale into. So another reason is that they don't spend enough money to thoroughly test a product. So they'll literally launch one $6 PP ad and just kind of hope that that's enough because they'll want to test more products at a lower budget. I strongly advise to test less products at higher budget per products, but be really thorough with your product research. And finally, the single biggest reason as to why you can't consistently find winning products is due to incorrect product research. It is literally probably the hardest thing about dropshipping is product research. The reason being is that all like the other bits like scaling Facebook ads and duplicating campaigns and using lookalike audiences and things, that's all literally just following a system, literally a set of instructions, using data, knowing when to scale, when to kill, etc. But product research is much less quantitative; it's much more qualitative, and you really have to be intuitive about how you do it. So this is the biggest thing that I see people struggle with. In order to consistently find winning products, you need to get the product research side correct. Otherwise, all the other parts, the kind of scaling Facebook ads and things like that, is irrelevant. If you're not getting the right products, then you will fail. It's as simple as that. Okay, so this is why you should be testing less products. I know that goes against literally all the other gurus who say just test 10 products per day. The more testing, the better. But I say now in 2018, particularly coming into 2019, you need to fully validate your products pre-testing to really determine whether or not it's worth spending money on. And when you've got validated products to test, you need to be testing with higher budgets. So here's why you should be testing. You shouldn't be testing 10 products per day. It's literally crazy. No one can sustain that. So if you're testing 10 products per day, you've literally got to rush the research of 10 products. You've got to do like 10 uploads to your store, the product descriptions, the ad copy, the creatives, and you've got to develop the targeting for 10 different products and probably in 10 different niches. And to do all that, it is super labour intensive. And because it's super labour intensive, and particularly if you're working on your own, you haven't got a team of VAs or anything like that, the quality of your work is going to be really poor. Your ad copies and creatives aren't going to be great. Your targeting is going to be off, and you're not going to be able to thoroughly test each product, and so you're going to quickly exhaust your testing budget, and so the chances of finding winning products are much lower, as opposed to doing 10 products per week. That's what I advise, particularly if you're just starting out, but focus on really carrying out proper product research throughout the week so you can compile 10 quality products to test. What this allows you to do is take much more care and more focused product research. You only have to create 10 ad copies and creatives per week as opposed to 10 per day, so you can really focus on getting quality there with them. You're able to test, because you're not testing stupid amounts of products, you'll have more budget allocated to be able to test products properly and have multiple ad sets per product. There's also way less boring manual work like creating videos and things like that, and you can focus much more time on the things that matter: product research and scaling winners. That is literally dropshipping in a nutshell. You shouldn't be spending all your time doing this. You're not a video editor, you're a business person, you're an entrepreneur who's scaling businesses. You shouldn't be just editing videos all day. So here's kind of a rough estimate of your chances of finding a winning product that you can scale, doing 10 products per day rushed versus 10 products per week that are tested thoroughly. So if you do this, I'd say your chances of finding a winning product that you can scale and actually make good money with is probably about 2% if you're doing 10 per day. Whereas if you're doing 10 per week and you're doing things properly and thoroughly, your chances are at least 20% of finding a winning product. And what I mean by winning products, it's a very kind of broad term. I class a winning product that you can scale to 6 figures and above. that's a proper winning product. I find lots of profitable products that you can make like 5 to 10k with, or even as high as 50k, but I don't class that as a proper full-on winning product if you can't scale it to over 6 figures. So your chances of finding a winning product are probably about 20% if you do things properly and consistently. Okay, so how to properly test products in Q4 2018. So what you need to be doing is determining what your testing budget is, and I advise at least $200 to $500 per week. Obviously, you can do less that. You can test less products if your budget doesn't allow that. But this is certain. You need to be testing at least $20 to $50 per product. Because if you're doing like just $5 for a product and then being like, oh, it's not a winner, you're not really giving it enough opportunity. You need to be testing multiple ad sets per product. It's just so important. I used to do just one ad set per product, and I used to have a really, really hard time finding anything profitable. Now I test 10 different ad sets per product, and I consistently find winning products that I can scale. And you need to become a scientist. So scientists, they run multiple experiments before they find a winning solution. They don't just test one experiment and everything just works. The same applies to dropshipping. You need to be testing multiple different ad sets and audiences in order to find something that's profitable. So stop gambling and start properly testing. Okay, so this is my general campaign structure for how I consistently test winning products. So what I'll do is throughout the week I'll compile roughly 10 products. I'll fully kind of validate the products pre-testing to determine that they actually stand a decent chance of being successful. So here's product 1 to 10. And what I've put here is times 5, and that represents at least 5 different ad sets per product. So you want to segment each ad set into a different interest within that niche. So let's say this is a beauty product. So you might have like one ad set towards a beauty magazine, one's to an influencer within that niche, one's into kind of a beauty Facebook page. So you want to segment it out into different ad sets within that niche. Personally, I do 10 different ad sets, but I've put 5 here as a minimum. So here, so say you've got 10 products and you're doing 5 different ad sets per product. This will equate to 50 different ad sets when running your test. So this is kind of the broad experiment of where you're finding your profitable campaigns that you can scale into. So here's your 50 ad sets, and with every ad set you only need one advert. I don't test multiple different adverts when testing. I stick to the same creative, so each ad set will have the same creative. So for each product there's just one actual advert, so one ad set, one ad per ad set. Okay, so you're probably wondering how much all this costs, that like the crazy amount of ad sets that I've suggested. If you're just starting out, I advise to just do one major launch or test per week. So what you'll do is you'll simultaneously launch 50 to 100 ad sets once a week and then just test them throughout the week to see if they work. So a minimum kind of expenditure for that would be roughly $300. So that would be $6 per day per ad set. So let's say you've got you're testing 10 products and you're doing 5 ad sets for that product, it would equal 50 ad sets. And so 50 times $6 per day is going to be $300. Now that's not going to be $300 per day, because most of those you'll turn off after day 1, because they'll be the ones that are least profitable, that they're not working as well as the others, and then you can start thinking about scaling into the other ones. So personally what I do is this kind of like a maximum budget that I suggest is I do 10 products, 10 ad sets per product, so that's 100 ad sets when I launch my test. So if I'm doing so I do $12 per day per ad set, which equates to $1,200. That may seem crazy amount, like per day, but that's only for one day. And I can guarantee that if I've done my product research correctly, that when I'm able to scale my winning ad sets, particularly when I start to scale properly and with larger budgets, this 1,200 will easily be recouped within, like literally within a few hours. Particularly when you've got a proper winning product, you can just recoup this easily. So I wouldn't worry too much about losing this in the initial testing phase. So once I launch, roughly 70 to 80% of my ad sets are turned off after 24 hours. So you can't be disheartened by like many of your ad sets failing. That's just the nature of dropshipping. That's why I strongly advise to test so many different variations within your audiences, because most will fail. So if you're not testing many different variations, then the likeliness of finding something that's profitable is extremely low. So after day 2, a further 50% of these, of the 20% remaining, will also be turned off. So that leaves roughly 10 profitable ad sets after day 3, and normally these are the ones which I can scale, and it's likely that I'll find a winning product within these 10 profitable campaigns or ad sets. So out of 100, only 10% actually even make it to day 3. That's not to do with my creative or targeting being bad. It's just the nature of drop shipping. The majority of your ad sets will fail and will be unprofitable. That's why you need to test many different ad sets for each product. So if metrics look good, then I begin to scale, and I rank up the budget, the daily budget, consistently. And I don't rush it too much at the beginning. I see a lot of people, they'll get a few sales and really try and scale too hard too quickly. But I need full validation that the product is a genuine winner and that it's getting consistent sales over a sustained period of time before I even think about kind of scaling up much. Okay, so what objectives do I optimize for? You're probably wondering that by now because I haven't mentioned it yet. But personally, I go straight for website conversion purchase objective. The reason for that is it's just by far the most consistent way to test products, but it is the most expensive, and you can risk losing more money by choosing this because you're not going to get the same amount of reach. Your CPMs are much higher, and so you're going to have to spend a bit more to thoroughly test a product. But if you're just starting out, there's 2 different ways. I've tested every single way, literally reach campaigns, engagement, every single type of conversion campaign for testing, and I found that 2 other good ways are either running an engagement campaign optimized for PPE or a reach campaign optimized for landing page views. The reason is that you can build cheaper pixel data by utilizing these methods, and particularly if you're just starting out and your budget is lower. And when you're testing multiple different ad sets per product, because you've got a low budget allocated towards each ad set, because the CPMs are so low with these objectives, you'll be able to penetrate the audience more and be able to view more data within your ads manager and really see which ad sets have healthy metrics and scaling potential. Whereas it's harder to notice, particularly if you're on lower budgets with WC purchase campaigns, because if you're not spending much, your CPMs are going to be really high and your reach is going to be super low. So it's really hard to validate whether that data is kind of representative. But with PPE and landing page views, you do get more representative data, particularly when you've got low spending budgets. So these are probably advised for when starting out, but I personally now always do website conversion purchase objective when testing and when scaling 100% all the time, apart from my retargeting campaigns, but I'll talk about that another time. Okay, so talk about the pros and cons of each of the testing objectives that I've mentioned. So we've got website conversion purchase, we've got reach optimized for landing page views, and an engagement campaign optimized for page post engagement. So the pros of the WC purchase campaign is the traffic is highly qualified. Like, this is the best quality traffic, and what Facebook does, it'll serve your ads to people who are most likely to purchase based on that particular user's recent kind of activity on Facebook. They're really kind of highly likely to make a purchase. So if you get your targeting right and you reach the right audiences, you'll have no trouble getting sales when optimizing for purchases. It improves retargeting because you've got such a healthy flow of quality traffic flowing through your website. So when you're retargeting this traffic, you can get super high return on ad spend for your retargeting campaigns. It's also easy to identify a winner because if you're getting consistent sales, then you know it's likely that it's a winning product. The cons is that it's expensive, and you need to be good at product research when using this method, otherwise you'll just exhaust all your testing budget quickly, because it is an expensive method for testing. So reach optimized for landing page views is great because you get super cheap traffic to your store. You get so much people who visit your product page and who look at your product. So you get cheap testing compared to website conversion. And also, if buying intent is shown, because you're not optimizing for purchase or anything like that, when buying intent is shown, it's a strong indicator that you have a winning product. So if you're getting lots of add to carts, initiate checkouts and purchases, when using this objective, it's almost guaranteed that your product is a winning product. But the only con is that with this, you are going to get a lot of junk traffic. So people who just literally just click and then leave your website instantly, and you get a lot of curiosity visitors to your website. So that's the only con of this, hence why it's quite a cheap way to test. And then going on to PPE, I'm sure a lot of you probably use this, quite a popular method for testing. So the pros is that it can add a lot of social proof to your ad, a lot of likes, shares, comments, etc., which gets people in the buying mode. People who see your ad and it's got lots of engagement, they're more likely to click through and buy your product. It's also a cheap way to test. The thing that I don't like about this is that it can be misleading. You can think you've got a winning product or a winning campaign, but what's actually happening is you're getting sales organically from the post being shared. So someone sees your ad, who you've served your ad to, they share your post, and what that does, it shares it onto their news feed, and then someone from their news feed purchases your product. But what that indicates is that you haven't actually correctly targeted your products, so you're only getting a sale as a result of it being shown organically. So it can be misleading into thinking that you have a winning product. It's also difficult to scale. I find it hard to transition a winning PPE campaign into a winning website conversion purchase campaign. The reason being is that you can get sales on PPE, but that doesn't give full validation as to whether or not it's going to work when optimizing for purchase, because it can kind of coincide with that reason that I said here. That you can be getting sales like organically from the post being shared and stuff, so it can be a bit misleading as to whether or not you actually have a winning product. And I see a lot of people who do this. They'll have a winning PPE ad that probably is been profitable over 3 days, so they'll transition it to this, and then it may be profitable for like 1 or 2 days, but then it becomes unprofitable. And the reason being is that they didn't actually have a winning ad set. They just thought they did, and then when they tried to scale through this method, it died out quite quickly. Okay, so the metrics that I look for when deciding whether or not to scale an ad or not. So I'm going to go over this briefly in this video, but the next video that I'm bringing out soon, I'm going to go over it in a lot more depth, showing the exact kind of metrics, what numbers to look for, and a set system that you can use so you can consistently scale and know what ads to turn off and what ads to turn on. So generally, I look for cost per landing page view at first. So I'm not too interested in cost per click. The reason being is that you can get a lot of clicks, but they don't actually kind of progress to your landing page and actually have a look at the product. But if there is a huge discrepancy between the landing page views and the clicks, then I know that there's probably something wrong with my website in terms of the load speed. So if you're getting like cost per clicks at say 20 cents, but your cost per landing page view is way up at like 50 cents, then you know that kind of a lot of those people are dropping off before your website's actually loaded. So I'd keep your eye on that. I also look for things like buying intent. So what I'm really interested in is how are people progressing through the funnel. So they're adding to cart, initiating checkout, then purchase. What I don't want is loads and loads of add to carts, but none of this. The reason being, you're probably getting a lot of junk traffic or other dropshippers just deliberately adding to cart so they can get served more ads. So I'll look at these metrics, and kind of in the next video I'm going to show you what metrics are healthy and what to look for when determining when to scale. And I also ignore in things like engagement. Like I see a lot of dropshippers, they'll get like 50 shares in the first day and they'll think they've got a winning product and they'll start to scale, even if they haven't got any of this, because what they'll think is that because their ad's going viral or they're getting loads of engagement, that people want to purchase the item. What kind of happens when you've got a lot of engagement. It means that the actual ad itself or the video that you've created is going viral, but people don't actually want to purchase the product. They just like tagging their friends and sharing it because it's like a funny video or something like that. And although it's good to get engagement, it's definitely an added bonus. If you're not getting any of this stuff, then there's no point in trying to scale because you're just going to keep losing money. So this is by far the most important. This is just like an added bonus to help your ad go viral. Okay, so next video I'm going to be going in a lot more depth on like how to actually do Facebook targeting properly. So doing a full breakdown of what interest to go for, how to structure your campaigns, and also how many different ad sets to run within a given niche. And I'm also going to be bringing in a live winning product that you can go and test and implement this exact strategy. Also go in more depth over the data scores that I look for. As I mentioned previously, the exact kind of metrics like the cost per landing page view, how like the number of add to carts, initiate checkouts and purchases that I look for and at what time point throughout the scaling process. And I'm also going to tell you how to avoid the trap of scaling a product that you think is a winner. So I see a lot of people do this. They'll get like a couple of sales and they'll get excited and they'll just want to scale instantly and they'll scale too quickly and end up losing loads of money. And also going to show you the 3 phases of scaling and how you can like position yourself to transition from each phase so you can consistently scale winning ads. Okay guys, I hope you've enjoyed that video. Remember, this is only part 1 of the video series, so there's going to be more videos on how to test products properly using Facebook ads. So if you look forward to seeing that, then make sure you hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications so you know exactly when it comes out and you can be the first person to get access to that video. And also if you like this video, then leave a comment and a like down below. Tell me what you liked about it and what I can improve for next time. So that's it for today, and I'll see you in the next